What's up, bro?
How you doing?
How y'all doing? Good.
So yeah, just with that, basically the entire spring in the books now, how do you feel like you and the rest of the offense have been picking up Coach Dawson's offense?
I think every day we're getting better and we're developing, and we can see it out on the practice field. On top of that, with defense as well, they're getting better and they're putting in a lot of multiple fronts and this and that. And it's been a little bit of an iron sharpens iron thing. Some days defense might come on top, some days offense might come out on top. But nonetheless, every single day, I think every unit on the offense, definitely the offensive line and the receivers and TVD and the quarterbacks and the running backs and tight ends, each day has been another step in progression.
Man, a lot of your teammates praise you. I'd say a lot of your teammates could just praise you just for how good you are at blitz pickup and all the other, just reading out the defense, calling out the signals. I'm curious, how much are you maybe mentoring some of the younger guys who one day will have to fill your shoes, or if God forbid you go out for a play, to step into that, to step into your role? Who do you think is doing the best job at that right now?
Of
backing you up at that center position.
Yeah, I think right now in all the spring, Ryan Rodriguez has been running with the true center, and from a mental standpoint, because the game's a little bit different when you're a center. Not that other guys, Jalen could come play center, absolutely. He's smart enough to do that. But the mental understanding to play center it's a little bit of a next step compared to playing guard or tackle or most other positions. But I think Ryan's done a great job on the mental side, and he might make a mistake here and there, but he's gotten a lot better and he's developed a lot. And I've absolutely been trying to mentor him. And everybody, all the young guys, it's not just the centers, it's the tackles, and a lot of that comes into mentoring a guy on how to work. It's not always what you say, a lot of it is what you do. So sometimes it's leading by example and pushing guys to keep working, and it's like, yeah, I'm tired too. Let's go. This is how you got to get better.
We know Francis obviously has been with the ones a lot at right tackle. How is he different from a typical freshman?
He, in many ways, Francis, since he came in, since I really met him and started working with him January 17th or whatever that day was, he's about that tall, big dude, wide, big, strong guy, athletic as hell, and he's like 325, 330 pounds. So he don't look like that. He's big, but he doesn't have the stomach. He's a physical specimen, absolutely. And then I think what really separates him from, on top of that, as a freshman, he's 17 years old. He still technically could be in high school already, early enrolled, but he plays with big eyes. He doesn't play with blinders. He uses the peripherals, and from a mental standpoint and being able to point out and get us on the right page if it's something that he has to do, he's a lot more advanced than you would think a early enrollee 17-year-old freshman.
He's Coach Mirabal. How is it working under him, and what have you learned from him so far during the spring?
A bunch of stuff, absolutely, and technique and schematics and a bunch of, more in-depth stuff like that, because he's definitely a technician and he understands offensive line play and football to a very high degree. But working with him, he really pushes us, right? He's going to love on you and he's going to be your biggest fan, but he's also going to be your biggest critic, and he's going to point stuff out because, as he says, he owes that to us, right? He's trying to work to get us better. So he ain't coming after you if he's getting after you. He's trying to push you, but he every day he brings his A game. He freaking elevates the group, elevates the whole offense because of his attitude and how he approaches it, and his mental understanding of football.
What are your battles like with the defensive line? Is there anyone that stands out on that side of the ball?
Yeah, I think there's multiple guys. I think for one, he's a younger guy, Ahmad Moden. I think he was just a freshman last year, and from the beginning of spring and this offseason, running through this whole spring, I think he's gotten a lot better. He's a lot more aggressive, and he's a lot more, when he's tired, he's like, it doesn't matter, right? He's going to push through it, which I think he's developed a lot. I think Jake, coming back off his injury, Lichtenstein, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but Jake, he's a big, strong guy. I take a lot of reps against him. On the edge, not a lot of guys that I'm going to go against as much, but I think, especially as a guy that I believe was a freshman last year or maybe the year before, Nigel Kelly, he gets after it. That guy, he's going to be a real good player for us. And there's multiple other guys, that I could talk about. But really, I think that whole unit, that defensive line unit, with both coaches, Coach Taylor and Coach Joe, have done a great job.
The looks that Lance Gidry throws at you guys as a front, how much does that help with the communication and just getting on the same page?
It's really good because he runs a lot of stuff, a lot of complicated stuff, a lot of different fronts, a lot of stuff that you probably wouldn't know what to do until you go against it and you get told by your coach, like, okay, this is how we got to block this. And I say it's really good because a lot of teams don't run, they're not as multiple as he is running his defense. A lot of teams are going to run a lot of base defense, and they might pop here, and they might do this, and they might just have a few other fronts. They might just go, even, and they might go odd, and they might go bare. But stuff isn't as complicated. There's a lot more base defense. Going against his defense on a daily basis, they're running a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff can be confusing if you're not on your stuff, not on your shit. So going against that every day is a lot better, and through camp leading up to the season, because a lot of teams aren't going to be as multiple as that, and it gets you that much more ready.
Matt, who was second for you essentially in the portal competition, and how meaningful was it to you that Tyler came down from Connecticut to be with you on your visit?
Yeah, I don't think there really was a second. I think it was kind of, there was, thoughts here and there, but from the start to the time I committed and through now, it was kind of always Miami. It was kind of always a no-brainer for various reasons. And then TBD, Tyler coming down on a visit. I didn't know he was coming down at first, and then when we met up at dinner and all that and spent those two nights and days together, it was awesome because it showed me, he's the starting quarterback and he's on vacation in Connecticut, and he's like, damn, I'm going to fly down to visit this guy, 3-4 hours, however long that flight is. And I think it also showed me that Tyler's he's a mature, he's a serious, he's a smart, he's a good dude, that I'd love to have as my quarterback.
Thanks so much, Matt.